You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Dr. Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, MoveWell University, the Black Diamond Club, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Dr. Alok Trivedi, Universal Traction Systems, Vantage Point Marketing, Element Mattresses, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Chiro Thin, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, and Everest Chiropractic Bootcamp. Let's hustle. Hey guys, Jim Chester here. This is a sponsorship edition of the Chiro Hustle live stream. I have Dr. Peter Goldman over there. He is in San Francisco, and I am over here in Lakewood, Colorado. And I'm not out here because I wanted to hear the birds chirp. It's just because I'm traveling so much. Hey, Pete, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Jim. Jim is the hardest working person in chiropractic. That includes chiropractors and non-chiropractors. Every time I turn on Facebook, I told Barbara Eaton, I either see Jim Chester or Barbara Eaton. So he just told me before we started that he only slept 5 hours last night, but boom, he's right back on it. So here he is.
Well, you know, it's more about getting everybody's voice heard. And if you develop a platform of consistency, you want people to be able to have that as an anchor. And the chiropractic profession needs an anchor for communication. And that's what we've been doing with Chiro Hustle. So thank you for being a contributor and a supporter and a sponsor of the Chiro Hustle podcast.
I appreciate it. Like I said in one of our other interviews, I've been in practice for over 20 years. I never spent a cent on advertising. The only thing I ever spent on advertising was when I launched my online school a year ago, and I placed some Facebook ads to get the word out. But I sponsor you just because I really love what you're doing, and it's my pleasure to be a sponsor.
Yeah, and I know that you've been doing a lot more with communication and developing a style of your own to get your message out to more people. You know, back in the day, you know, distancing the ideas of that there needs to be collaboration was one thing, but now 2018, it's more important to leverage our ideas, our voice, and our concepts to people so everybody know where we're coming from. And I know that was something we talked about off camera, is that people have to develop a communication style for each audience. So I think, you know, kudos to you for like diving right into it. And, you know, I was just talking to you, you said you've done it with Barb, Lily, Tristan, Melissa, and Auda. So it's something really cool. And you've been hosting a couple too, right?
I did. I actually interviewed this guy, Cody Goldman, not to be confused with my last name, which is Goldman. He's Golman, no D. I've been friends with Cody. He's actually in Colorado, where you are. I've been friends with Cody for many, many years. He's a great chiropractor, and he's an expert at body type reading, which is not chiropractic, but it's kind of cool. It's about like looking at someone's morphology and understanding their personality, and it really helps you make a rapport with them as a patient. So I did an interview with him. I think it has, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this. I think it has over 6,000 views. I think it has. Wow. I could be wrong, but I think it's 6,100 plus views. So that's an interview where I did of him. I also interviewed Dr. Nelson Bulmash, I believe in Atlanta. He's awesome. And Dr. Lenny Coco in Hawaii. So I did those interviews, and I think I did one a couple days ago, but I interviewed someone else.
But, you know, that's what's so important, is to consistently keep going and to open up this channel. I mean, there's nothing greater than a Facebook Live, if you ask me. And there's nothing greater than to have a foundational conversation about something that has substance to it. And, you know, people out there, they need to hear these things, you know, and if it wasn't important, we wouldn't have that type of, you know, we wouldn't do it. So, you know, keeping the chiropractic voice alive with free speech in it, I think that's something that we've done really well and branded that so everybody has a voice, whether it's somebody that's a seasoned chiropractor of 20 plus years or a chiropractic student that might be the first doctor in their family. You know, there's such an honesty when people can, you know, kind of choke up and tell their story. And I think, you know, that's why we close out by saying you're just one story away. Keep hustling, because
sorry to interrupt. I just wanted, you made a great point before. I didn't want it to get lost in the shuffle. You said about, you know, when people come together at these different events or interviews and stuff, you know, and you mentioned, I think, the word substance. That's what I latched onto. I think you said substance, but anyway, the point is,
I did say substance.
Yeah, that's what I latched onto, is that, like, I think a lot of times when people go to like big events and there's a room full of 100 chiropractors, a lot of it, which is okay, is kind of just like rah, rah, rah. There's no substance. It's just chiropractic's great. I love chiropractic. It's awesome. There's no substance, but it's okay because it raises the vibration, and they go back in their office Monday and they're charged and they're around all these other chiropractors. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not dismissing that. But at some point, you want to talk about some substance. So I like the fact that you mentioned substance, because it is important when you get by the rah stuff to actually talk about reality and substance. I think that's very helpful.
And one of those I want to discuss with you today, that's a good segue, is healing. And what is the zone technique and how is it healing people?
Well, the zone technique is a great question. The zone technique was, well, first of all, there was a chiropractor named Dr. Thurman Fleet. In my estimation, the greatest chiropractor ever. Everyone can have their favorite. I'm just going on results. If you research him, you can go to drthurmanfleet.com, drthurmanfleet.com, little website about him. But anyway, Dr. Thurman Fleet practiced in San Antonio, Texas in the 30s, 40s, 50s, etc. This guy's practice was so busy, as I've said before, the police had to reroute traffic patterns in order to accommodate the people coming to his office. So, you know, if you're getting results that are that spectacular, that people are actually lined up to the degree that the police are rerouting traffic patterns to come to you, you're probably doing something right. He invented this thing he called it zone therapy back 20 plus years ago when I was still a student at Life College in Atlanta area. I learned his technique. It wasn't taught in school, but I learned his technique from some old timers who were almost in their 80s then, who had studied with Dr. Fleet back in the day. And, you know, when I was in school, I was trying to do the best thing. So I went to the Gonstead Club and the Upper Cervical Club, and I got network adjustments and Thompson and motion palpation and the CBP. And I have nothing negative to say about any of them. It was all very pleasant experiences. But I met this guy who was a student of Dr. Fleet, and man, I mean, people were coming to him for freaking like diabetes and epilepsy, and he hardly did neck and back pain. Of course, neck and back pain he could wrap up better than anything I had seen, but he was doing that real old school chiropractic, D.D. Palmer type stuff. So every Sunday I would drive out to his house and he would mentor me one-on-one. So I probably spent 100 hours with him one-on-one in the time that I was, you know, at school. And then he died, but I didn't forget what he said. Now, what's interesting is I was a student. I was in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th quarter, and I had half the faculty getting adjusted by me. You got to start wondering about that. Students don't adjust doctors at school. Why is half the faculty being adjusted by a 9th quarter student? Because I knew what he taught me. So anyway, Dr. Fleet invented this technique. I've refined it over the years. He called it zone therapy. I call it zone technique. I've, altered it a little bit. And it divides the body up into 6 systems, which is the glandular system, the eliminative system, the nervous system, digestive system, muscle system, and circulation system. So we say that anything that anyone who has any ache, pain, dis-ease, condition, could be Crohn's disease, IBS, gynecological problems, weak immune system, migraine headaches, neck pain, back pain, foot pain. Any disturbance in the human body is due to an imbalance in one or more of those 6 systems. And I have a way in 20 seconds to feel the occipital fibers. Don't get confused with SOT. It's got nothing to do with SOT. Feel in the back of the head, and it will tell me what's happening in those 6 systems. And there's certain points in the spinal cord that I will stimulate with my hand, and it takes 2 minutes, and it resets the brain centers, and those 6 systems heal. I've yet to see a technique as effective when it comes to straight up results. So that's the physical part of the zone technique. But there's a bigger picture of the zone technique, which is what heals. Understanding what heals will make you a great healer. If you think just moving the bone is what heals, then, maybe I could teach you a couple things. But if you're happy, then, don't worry about it. We don't have to interact. But if you wonder, and Jim and I were talking before we went on live, I said, hey, Jim, think about like Lourdes, France. People were going to these religious shrines with paralysis and all these severe diseases. And they put some holy water on them or whatever happens at Lourdes, France. And they would just leave their crutches and their, whatever. They were totally healed. Well, what subluxation did they get adjusted? Was it C1? No, I don't think so. Was it L5? No, I don't think so. They just showed up at the religious shrine and healed. So there's a greater principle of healing. And if you understand the greater principle of healing, you'll be a much greater healer within the context of chiropractic. And as I told Jim before, chiropractic is my single favorite physical healing technique in the world. I think it's a superior to any other physical technique on the planet. I love getting adjusted. I love adjusting people. With that said, there's a bigger picture of healing. Because look, what do we think? The first healing on this earth ever took place in 1895. when D.D. Palmer developed or discovered chiropractic? No, people have been healed for thousands of years. I just want to add a couple things to that. The first thing is that, you could say, oh, people were getting their spines, manipulated in ancient China and ancient Egypt. Yeah, but that's not chiropractic. That's a general manipulation. Even A.T. Still, the founder of osteopathy in the 1800s, he was doing more of a general manipulation to open up circulatory flow. But D.D. Palmer said, I've discovered the specific adjustment for subluxation. But we know people weren't getting their subluxations checked before 1895, and many of them were doing fine. So we have to kind of think about that, and that'll actually make you a better chiropractor. That won't make you a worse chiropractor. That'll make you a better chiropractor.
Yeah, you've said some really impactful stuff there, and it's going back to the roots. And chiropractic was based on tone. It's a tonal model, but it's a full body system, and it's not just thinking about, oh, your arm's going numb, let me get that arms to stop going numb. No, it's full body maintenance and it's full body care. So I'm fascinated with the zone technique. Actually, I've been talking to a couple of my friends, and they're like, well, you got this guy, Pete Goldman, with the zone technique. What's that all about? And I was like, well, just go to the website, check it out, go over there. And if you want to become, deeper, have a deeper understanding of what chiropractic is and get better results for your patients, it might be something that you want to do. It's postgraduate education. It's like anybody that goes out there in the real world and starts learning how to do any type of, whether it's a doctor for eyes, a doctor for feet, a doctor for anything, everybody gets postgraduate studies. So I think it would give people a good foundation to learn another skill set to maybe change the way that their paradigm is with how they take care of their practice members or patients, whatever they like to call them. It's such a confusing marketplace because everybody wants to tell somebody who they are, when really what you are is a caregiver. You're a healer. And that's what chiropractic is from the fundamentals. And we want to market it and we want to brand it. We want people to think that what we've done is something new. But like you said, it's been going on for a long time. But chiropractors just developed a technique, and they developed a healing system, which is called chiropractic now. And now so many people get the chance to, I guess the profession has become fragmented to the fact that everybody thinks that what they have is the best thing. So, if they are interested, they can go to zonetechnique.com and, come over and go to your online school. I know you have an online school, so tell people if they wanted to, immerse themselves in zone technique and understand it more, what does that look like?
Well, thank you for that question, and I'm going to get to it. I want to just say, when you said like everyone thinks what they do is the best, if all I can say about that is if you had like a boxer and he said boxing is the best way to fight, you got the boxing is the best way to fight, and someone said, no, I actually think that Taekwondo is the best way to fight. I'm not saying what is or not. I'm just saying, well, let's say, well, guys, it's pretty simple. Let's meet here. I know a gym. We'll go in the boxing ring. You guys can fight. I mean, we'll find out which is better. One of you probably be knocked out soon, and then we'll know the better. You could, otherwise we have this long debate, philosophical debate. So when it comes to what's the best technique, the only way I can look at it is results. And I would say I put the zone technique results up against anything. And I just want to add to that while many chiropractors will say things like, and I respect it, and I think it's cool. So they'll say things like, hey, I'm a nervous system doctor. It's all about above, down, inside out. The power that made the body heals the body. I'm with all that. It's beautiful. But often you walk into your office and you'll see that you have 20 people in your waiting room and they're all there for neck and back pain. No, you practice long enough. Of course, you're going to get people who kind of get an idea about wellness, and I understand that. And they'll bring their kids and they'll come when they're pregnant. It's beautiful. But when you look at D.D. Palmer's book of what chiropractic is, because he invented it, he can define it. His book was very little. Chiropractor's Adjuster in 1910 was very little bit about neck and back pain. It was about helping the pancreas and the liver and the stomach and the uterus and the ovaries and the immune system and the thyroid and the eyes. And that's what I do. Because if you come in my waiting room, and anyone's welcome to come, and you ask my patients, why are you there? They'll say things like, oh, well, the doctor said I couldn't get pregnant. They said it would be a miracle for me to get pregnant. And I went to Dr. Pete for 3 weeks when I got pregnant. Or someone says they had Crohn's disease, and now their digestion is perfect. Or they had high blood sugar, and now their blood sugar is perfect. Or they had high blood pressure, now their blood pressure is perfect. That's what I do. So not to mention, We have people coming, who are told they definitely need neck surgery for this disc or that disc problem. We fix their neck totally. They never get neck surgery. Their neck is fine. I take care of a lot of pro athletes. And not only do we fix their neck when they were told they need neck surgery and they don't get it, then they're back doing their hardcore rough sport. I take care of a lot of very famous pro fighters who are doing a lot of rough stuff. Also, another thing to add about the results is that people fly into me. I mean, I know Gonstead, I heard, had a landing strip next to his office. Well, I might as well, because I have at least 2 patients a month flying into me from Japan, Malaysia, Hawaii, New York, Chicago. And they say, hey, I have this issue. And I've been to several chiropractors and acupuncturists and homeopaths and MDs, and nothing is working. And they fly in for a week. I see them for a week and send them back in great shape. I mean, I had a girl, I did this, I don't know why this pops in my head. I have 1,000 stories, but this one pops in my head. I had a girl several years ago now. She lived in Canada, very north in Canada. She lived I looked at the map. She almost lived like in the North Pole. It was like this very high place in Canada. And she was 28 and she had severe abdominal pain for 10 years since she was 18. And they did everything they could for her. And they said, look, you got to get a hysterectomy because we run out of stuff. Now, her brother, coincidentally, was an MMA fan, and he read about me in a lot of MMA publications because I take care of BJ Penn and Jake Shields and Gilbert Melendez and Bas Rutten and Hickson Gracie and all these famous dudes. So he's like, why don't you give this guy a try? So they fly down from this place in northern Canada. This is 10 years ago or so. And I say, look, I'm going to see you 7 days in a row. So, she was in horrible abdominal pain and was going to get her uterus removed, 3 weeks later. I worked on her the first 4 days. When she came in for the 5th day, she said, I'm in no pain for the first time in 10 years, 0. I said, well, you're here for a couple more days. Let me get you. So I adjusted her the 5th, 6th, 7th. Went back, called me up a week later, said, yeah, the gynecologist examined me. I'm totally healed. I'm not getting a hysterectomy. About 2 years later, which is like 8 years ago, because that was like 10 years ago, her brother sends me an email. He's like, hey, Pete, remember me? Because he had come with her. He didn't get adjusted, but he was like, come with her. He's like, remember me? You adjusted my sister. I said, yeah. He's like, oh, I'm going to be in SF for a music festival. And I just want to get adjusted. I said, okay. So he comes in and he walks in. First thing, I'm like, hey, how's your sister? I asked like right away. Oh, she's fine. She has a kid now. So that's just par for the course for me. I don't even call it a miracle. People say all day long, Pete, it's a miracle. No, there's no miracles happening here. It's normal to be healthy. I just know how to get you back to health. So if people are interested in that, they should come to my school, which is, you go to zonetechnique.com.
Yeah, let me show that on the screen.
Yeah, there's a free course on the school, a few videos. If you like it, you sign up. Listen, here's the deal. My school has 100% money back guarantee. So if anyone takes my class and says, I took the class, it wasn't that good, I didn't really learn much. Hey, listen, get your money back. I have 145 students so far. I gave 3 refunds. And the people who wanted a refund, I gave them a full refund. The exact dollar amount they paid, I credited back to them immediately. So if anyone takes my class and doesn't love it, it's free. So either you're going to take my class and freaking love it. It will change your life and your patients' lives. Or you don't like it and just get a refund. So I'm very confident in my class. People teach many things, Jim. They teach how to get, how practice management, how to be all cash. By the way, I am an all cash practitioner. I've never taken health insurance ever. I take obviously credit card, but I don't take any insurance, and I always have been. But I don't teach how to do that. I just am mentioning that. But people teach how to have an all cash practice, how to do social media, how to do marketing. I don't do that stuff. I teach how to get amazing results, and I don't think you'll find a better class on the planet at the moment about how to be a better healer and get better results. I'm very confident in that. And I have people in my school, they're like, Pete, I hear this all the time. I've been in practice for 20 years. I was ready to hang it up. I was so frustrated. I'm getting these so-called miracles every week. I can't wait to go to work. I want to practice another 30 years. Or people say, Pete, I really wanted to help more people. So I took extra work in chiropractic neurology, AK, functional medicine, and I still was getting kind of okay results. And now I took your class. I spend 1/10 of the time with a patient and I get 10 times better results. And I dropped all that stuff because it's all about results. And that's what I get with what you're teaching. So I'm really happy about the Zone School. It's freaking fantastic.
Well, I love what you're doing. I think that what you're doing is bringing credibility to the adjustment. And I think that so many times people don't understand the art of the adjustment. And I think that once you can find out where you say you work on the occipital ridge and you figure out where the subluxation is, whatever zone it's going to, then you can start putting the care into that body, that person's body, allowing it to unwind, if you will, and get into a better state of healing. There's a couple things I want to say before we go on to the next interview question, because I'm really enjoying the conversation with you. If you guys are finding value in this and you think that it's something that you think that other people need to hear, please share this episode. Just hit the share button. If you guys are finding value in this on a different level and you don't want to share it, just give us some thumbs up, give us some hearts. And if you guys are watching this on replay and you see this after this has been live, hashtag replay in the comments so we know that you've been that you viewed it and who you are, so we can congratulate you for being a part of the Chiro Hustle live stream. I'm going to take just a quick pause and acknowledge a couple of people that have been on saying some comments to us, because the best thing to do is ever be recognized on one of these lives. I love it when I'm on somebody's live and I'm communicating with them and they recognize me. So Michael Hecker says, all I can say is Zone Technique has created so much confidence and certainty in my adjustments, my speech, and as a result, my marketing. So Michael Hecker, thank you for the push, and thank you for the comment. Miguel Guevara, hey guys, he's down in Mexico. Maybe Miguel will come see you for your school one day. Joe Cavazos, hey man, thanks for joining us today. Barbara Eaton, as always. I know Pete said me and you are the two hardest working people in chiropractic, because we're always everybody's getting notifications from us because we're always putting out content. Honestly, Pete, I don't think I work hard enough. I think I need to have more people on my team helping me get more information out, because I think that there's a thirst and a need for communication. I think that there's so many people out there that need to get the channel of confidence that we provide to people. So I appreciate you saying that earlier in the conversation. And then Kat Sarah, you were always one of the biggest supporters of all chiropractic. She's always on the Facebook Lives when people are out there broadcasting. She's super supportive. Nothing but love for you, Kat. Thank you so much for being a part of our live stream today. And like I said, man, if you guys are enjoying what we're doing here with Chiro Hustle live stream and the Zone Technique and Pete Goldman, please share this. The audience will grow. The numbers will grow. The appreciation for what we do will grow. It's like bringing, powerful content with a platform that people can easily digest it together. And it's so important for you guys to get the message out there. So thank you so much, everybody that's on with us and that continues to be a part of our tribe. Can
I just interject one thing? I just want to say that Michael Hecker, who was the first comment you read, Michael Hecker's a student in my school. And, you heard what he said. And I get a lot of people saying that. And Michael Hecker is a great chiropractor in the Milwaukee area. So if anyone's ever like, hey, I'm looking for a chiropractor in the Milwaukee area because you want to refer someone, I can give him my seal of approval big time. Michael Hecker in Milwaukee area. And if anyone needs a great chiropractor there, that's one of the great ones to go to.
This might be a good question for you. If people wanted to find other Zone Technique practitioners, where can they find a bank of them? Where can people go and find them?
Good question. So on the website, zonetechnique.com, in the menu, it says something like Directory of Certified Zone Doctors, something like that. When people take my class, when they've kind of graduated my class after doing what they have to do, they get a certification phone call with me. So I make sure they know what's up. And then once they're certified, we send them a little certificate, like a diploma, and then we put them on our list. So Dr. Michael Hecker is on our list. So you could actually go to zonetechnique.com, certified doctors, and you'll see Michael Hecker in the Wisconsin section.
So if you guys will do a challenge for me, go to the zonetechnique.com, and when you do have a referral that needs to have somebody get taken care of, go to that website and refer out to people that are certified in Zone Technique. Shane Smith says, Dr. Goldman sharing Zone and CT with me has been invaluable in my approach to delivering chiropractic. Thank you. You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Close for Chiro, Dr. Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, MoveWell University, the Black Diamond Club, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Dr. Alok Trivedi, Universal Traction Systems, Vantage Point Marketing, Element Mattresses, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Chiro Thin, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, and Everest Chiropractic Bootcamp. Let's hustle.
That's great. Hey, by the way, I wanted to say, because you mentioned, you alluded to this before, I forgot exactly how you said it, but you talked about you said the power of the adjustment. And listen, I just want to say, I know some chiropractors give vitamins or herbs, or they have modalities. I'm not criticizing anyone. Hey, do whatever you want to do. If you get great results, I applaud you. I just want to say that in my office, it's 100% me, my hands, the patient, and a flat bench. No vitamins, no herbs, no modalities, a 3-minute adjustment. And people are driving, I said people flying, people are driving 5 hours each way, 3 hours each way on the regular, routinely. A day doesn't go by where I'm in my office and at least one person hasn't driven 3 to 5 hours each way for a 3-minute session. But, I have a guy right now, he had psoriasis all over his hands. Can you imagine shaking everyone's hand? You have blood and pus all over your hand every day. And he's, 90% there at the moment and on his way to 100. Where else are you going to get that? Not too many places with psoriasis. So, the results speak for themselves.
Maybe we should call it the spontaneous remission technique.
It's funny you mention that because sometimes I actually get surprised. Like I said, I don't have a huge musculoskeletal practice. It's mostly, 80% non-musculoskeletal. But I had a patient come in a month ago, and he had low back pain for 20 years, really bad low back pain for 20 years. He's about 40 years old. He does live 3 hours away. So he came from 3 hours away. He came twice a month ago, but then I didn't see him for a month. And he came a few days ago. He's like, Pete, I literally tried everything. He's like, I went to 6 chiropractors in the last 20 years, nothing, acupuncture, everything. He's like, after the second adjustment, my back's been perfect. And I was like, oh, that's pretty quick. 2 adjustments. I thought he'd come a few times. So yeah, the speed at which people heal when you understand healing. Listen, let me say, Jim, what I'm going to say now is not, this talk is not about religion. I know that some people watching are atheist, agnostic, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist. It doesn't matter. So what I'm saying is not in a religious context. So I don't want anyone to be confused by that. Whatever you think about religion, fantastic. But if we look at Jesus as a healer, I'm not talking about Jesus as a religious figure. As a healer. Well, Jesus had as good a healing results, if not better, than any healer we've ever heard about. How long did he spend with a patient? 35 seconds. What subluxation did he adjust? None. And how many visits did they have? 1. Hey, your sins are forgiven you. Have faith. And, he's raising the dead. The blind is seeing. The lame are walking. Diseases are healing. And he said, all these things I do, you can do, and even greater. Because it's not me who does the healing. It's the Father within. Maybe you think the Father within means innate. I'll leave that up to you. But why can't we identify with that kind of stuff? I do.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love it that we can get deep on the philosophical stance. I love that we can get deep on the history stance. I think that's one of the coolest things about talking to you, Pete, is you're not afraid to answer anything and talk about any topic, which I think is foundational for communication. If you guys are out there watching, you have questions for Dr. Pete or I, please put them in the comments there. I know Kat Sarah just said, I live in Salt Lake City. I need to see how long a drive it is to your office.
Kat, come on down. And you can always look at the zone directory and see if anyone's closer to you, but you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, the brevity of what you say is complete. You say that you can help people through a few adjustments, which I think is awesome, but it's about the person taking that first step and taking the initiative of actually showing up. Results don't happen unless it's 2 people. And, chiropractors all the time, if they could adjust themselves, it would be awesome, right?
Exactly. It's funny. I had, obviously I do love getting adjusted, and I get adjusted often. But I want to say about one thing I'm just to throw in there. It's kind of cool. So I had a patient come in 2 weeks ago, a new patient. I actually made a little Facebook thing about this, so some people might have seen it. But I had a new patient come in about 2 weeks ago. I said, "What are you here for? What would you like me to help you with?" So he said he had 3 chief complaints out of his mouth: IBS, overactive bladder, anxiety. So those are his 3 chief complaints. So IBS, he wants his digestion healed. Overactive bladder, he wants his bladder to work normally. And anxiety, he wants to be calm when he should be calm. And he's an MD. I don't mean a holistic MD who believes in chiropractic. This guy's a hardcore MD. But he heard about me somehow. Hey, this guy fixes stuff. And he said to me, I thought chiropractic was BS, but I heard what you did, so here I am. I said, hey, that's cool. I respect the fact that you could get by that and come see me. But those are chief complaints. So if you guys out there want to do that, I'll teach you how to do it. I had another patient come in the same day. The MD lives in San Francisco, so he doesn't travel far, but that's what he came for. And then I had another patient the same day, also a new patient came in who does live 3 hours away. She lives north of Sacramento. It's about over 3 hour drive. It's about a 3 hour drive where she lives. Chief complaint, first visit. Hey, what can I do for you? What brings you to me? PTSD. That's your chief complaint. PTSD. Her neck and back. She doesn't talk about her neck and back. She has PTSD. I said, what do you mean? She goes, I had a lot of stuff happen to me, and I get triggered every time I leave my house. Every time I leave I can't leave my house hardly. I'm so triggered by things. I said, okay, well, obviously your body got
disconnected.
Yeah, got imbalanced from whatever you're talking about, whatever the physical or emotional trauma was. If she wants to tell me about it, I'll listen, but we didn't even talk about it. I said, let's balance your body so you can go outside. This is what I told her. I said, look, if someone came to me and said, Pete, I have so much pain here, I can't even do one push-up. And then I did what I did, and I said, I'll get on the floor. And they knocked out 30 push-ups. Well, it's pretty good. It's pretty good before and after. Or if someone came to me and said, Dr. Pete, I have migraine headaches. For freaking 10 years, 7 days a week. I've tried everything. I've tried general chiropractic. I tried upper cervical. I tried homeopathy. I tried acupuncture. My head's killing me. Well, they come to me and they got their zones clear for a month and their head feels perfect 24/7. Well, it's a pretty good before and after. So I told her, I said, look, we already know the before. You go outside, you get triggered. We get that. We understand. We have a very measurable before. Let me balance you out. And then you go outside and you tell me how it is. Anyway, she's been back, I think twice since the first, so 3 total. And I said, how are you? She goes, it's a little better. It's a little better. I go out. I'm not as triggered. I said, well, that's like the person who used to get 7 migraines a week. Then they get 5 migraines a week. Then 3 migraines a week. Then 1 migraine a week. Then 0 migraines a week. Well, you're a little less triggered. Then a little less triggered. Then we'll be sitting here in a month and a half. Hey, Dr. Pete, I go outside. I feel normal. Well, I guess PTSD is not there anymore.
I think what you're doing is you're allowing the person's body to recommunicate with the way it's supposed to, its primal instincts. And I think that what happens over time with thoughts, traumas, and toxins, that a person's body becomes disconnected from the source. And it starts to go down these dark alleys and starts to get some type of a symptom response. And people just don't know what to do with that symptom response. And we live in a medical era where there's a pill, a potion, or lotion for everything that we might think, feel, or do. And then we go down that dark alley and we start doing things that don't serve our actual unity of our body with the brain, the gut, and the brain gut connection. And then we start to become disconnected from our own emotions. We start becoming disconnected from communication, not only with other people, but with ourselves. We start getting like the boogeyman syndrome where, it might be PTSD. It might be irritable bowel syndrome. It might be whatever the classification of what somebody is symptomatology is. But I know that what you're talking about is the body just needs to get rebalanced. It needs to get cleared out. It needs to have somebody that is in the proper technique to be able to find it, fix it, and let it go, just like Gonstead would do.
I say, wow, you quoted Jimmy Parker and Gonstead in the last 2 minutes. Very good. So actually, I told the MD, and I put this on a little Facebook thing, when the MD came, and it was funny because I saw his eyebrows raise, his eyes got big. I said, well, Doc, let's start with the IBS. Well, I said, listen, people have been having digestive problems for thousands of years. I mean, they just named it IBS, like 40 years ago? I don't know. Forget about that. Just a name. Let's forget about that. Your digestion's not balanced. It's not balanced because one of your 6 systems or one or more of your 6 systems is not balanced. We're going to find the systems that are not balanced. We're going to balance them, and your digestion is going to be perfect. And his kind of eyes got big. He said, oh, that makes sense. Because I said, what, are you going to sit there and Google IBS and think about the symptoms, identify with the symptoms, let those symptoms manifest in you? When I was in chiropractic school, every time we studied the sinuses, half the class got sinus problems. And we studied digestion, problems. We studied sinus problems. Half the class got sinus problems. We studied
psychosomatic.
Right. So it didn't happen to me, thankfully, because I said I'm not going to identify with this stuff. So when you identify with disease, you can help it manifest. But when you identify with health, that can manifest. And quite frankly, if the polarity is health and disease, if you identify with disease all day, that's not great. You don't want to fight disease. Whatever you fight, you give energy to. So my patients come in, hey, Pete, what's up? I'm fighting a cold today. I say, we're not fighting any colds. What you fight, you give energy to. We're not going to fight any colds. Let's balance your body so it can create health. Because where there's health, there's no disease. Let's not fight the cold. Let's just create health. Because when you have health, your body's not manifesting a cold or whatever. I know there's a lot of theories about, a cold might be, a good thing because the body might be releasing. I'm not talking about that. We can have a symptom conversation some other time. I'm just making a general point. You don't want to fight disease because it invites it. You want to join health and let health manifest.
Like the old dogma, the fight against cancer, or going to war for whatever it might be. There's dogma involved with the ideology. So whatever you tell yourself becomes your truth. And I think that that's one of the things that most people need to resonate with themselves more, is that what you tell yourself is your truth. If you tell yourself that this is your condition, then you are it. When I worked in the office, I'd always tell people, you are not your symptoms. Your name is Pete, and you are not this. You are you. And the quicker you get connection back to who you are, it's more of a mental game. But if the chiropractor is delivering the goods, the body unravels and starts to go back into what the medical community calls homeostasis, which is the balance of health and healing. So there's so much that you say that has so much like validation to it. And I think that the more that people just realize that if they go to somewhere that has a skill set of finding the subluxation and correcting the subluxation, the body is a self-healing organism. There's no mechanic inside of the body. It's all one. So the more that people realize that chiropractic is a giving, loving profession, and it's a service-oriented profession, that you just need to find somebody that can deliver the goods, and the body will self-regulate and self-heal.
Excellent. I want to just add to that, about, you said you're not your symptoms, whatever.
Yeah, you're Pete.
When people come to me and say, hey, Dr. Pete, I have this low back problem. I've been managing it for 3 years. I go, what do you mean? They go, I've been going to this chiropractor. I go like once a week for the last 3 years. We're kind of managing. I go, look, I don't manage stuff here. We fix stuff. And, those people who had 3 years of low back pain getting managed in a month and a half, their low back is perfect. Because as long as they're walking around thinking, well, I do have a weak low back. I have a delicate low back. I'll say, no, we're going to make your low back strong and healthy once it's balanced. And we do that all day long. In fact, if a patient says, here's my bad shoulder, here's my good shoulder. So no, actually, we're going to balance you out. Here's your good shoulder and here's your good shoulder. Here's your good shoulder and here's your good shoulder.
I have an idea. I should come out and get care from you, and we should do a Facebook Live of it.
I've been waiting for you to say that for a long time. Anytime.
I'm always on the airplane, so I might as well just schedule a weekend to come out and see you.
You'll have a great time, and your viewers will be quite happy. You'll see.
And the thing is about uncoding what we're okay with. And I'm okay with coming out there, and I'm okay with getting care from you because, hey, maybe there's something that's been entrenched in me that I haven't discussed with anybody else, that you say, hey, I'm going to check you out. You don't tell me anything. I'm just going to get you adjusted, and we're going to see what your body and how it responds to it.
I had a guy come to me about a year ago, very nice guy, about 30 years old, nice kid, I call him a kid, I don't know, but young looking face, about 30 years old. And I said, hey, what's up? What brings you to me? He said, depression. I suffer from depression. That was a chief complaint. I suffer from depression. I checked him out the way I do. I found his glandular and nervous system were quite off. I said, listen, when your glands and nerves are that unbalanced, I said, we're all human. We all can have a rhythm in our mood, but I could see how you feel that. Let me start balancing you out. You tell me what's going on. After about 2-3 weeks, he comes and he's like, man, I've never had such a good, happy, healthy mood than I've had in the last 2-3 weeks. His wife came in, not to be a patient. His wife came in just to thank me. She came in one day with him. Hey, Dr. Pete, I just want to thank you. You changed my life, my husband's life. 2 weeks of adjustment, depression solved. That's D.D. Palmer 101. Nothing odd about this. I recommend every chiropractor gets the Chiropractor's Adjuster. When D.D. Palmer wrote the Chiropractor's Adjuster in 1910, 15 years after he created chiropractic, if you look at the book, when he talks about it, he says, I didn't call it the Chiropractor's Adjuster to teach you how to adjust. I'm adjusting your mind of what chiropractic really is. Because in the 15 years from when he created it until 1910, when it he had his own school, and then BJ got involved, and some other people broke off and made schools. Chiropractic got so far away from what chiropractic actually was that he said, I'm adjusting your mind to back what chiropractic really is. So I recommend everyone read that book. And he goes on some, he's got some run-on sentences. He's kind of long-winded here and there. But when you see what he's really saying chiropractic can help, it's spectacular. And that just becomes a day at the office for you.
Well, you said some things there that resonate with me, and people ask me all the time, Pete, Jim Chester, why don't you love chiropractic? And you can probably tell from my vernacular. You can tell from the tone of my delivery with what I say and how I measure it. And they're like, well, why don't you go to school and become a chiropractor? I go, I adjust above the atlas. I represent the most beautiful profession on planet Earth. I am the communicator. And if you understand that that's the space that I hold, that's sacred to me. I'm protecting the sacred trust with keeping free speech alive and well in the beautiful profession of chiropractic, and letting people share their stories and share what makes them special and unique and honest, and give them an approach. And if it wasn't for what we decided to do and package Chiro Hustle the way we did, most people wouldn't know that there's unity in this profession. And I think that that's one of the most beautiful things of what we've done is we've done what they always want to do, is tear down that wall. And we've torn down that wall. And that's why we're cross-pollinating the truth into every chiropractor's heart that we can possibly make a contact with, because people need the truth. And if you just knew where to go for it, people would just go there and they would spend any dollar amount that they had in their account to just get the truth. Everybody wants the truth, brother.
I love it. It's interesting. Back in around 1920, there was three main techniques of chiropractic in 1920. There was upper cervical, BJ Palmer. There was the Texas school, which was just kind of crack every bone. You go from T1 to S1, crack every bone, both sides of the side posture, both sides of the neck. But that got great results. So anyone who's making fun of anyone who's making fun of a flying seven should look at their results. They were healing people from everything under the sun because they believed in the Merrick chart and opening up all the nerves. And then the third technique was Logan, which was more about the sacrum and the coccyx and the pelvis. Now, a lot of upper cervical guys then were saying, hey, unless you're doing the scientific upper cervical, this whole Texas style of adjusting all the bones is just gross manipulation. And Logan is missing the boat. Now, Logan was saying this upper cervical stuff is nonsense. The Texas stuff is nonsense. You got to get that sacrum right. And then the Texas guys were saying, no, we're going to adjust every bone there is because we're going to open up every possible nerve flow. And the thing is, they all got great results. They all did. The Texas people were doing miraculous stuff. The Logan people were doing miraculous stuff. And the upper cervical people were doing miraculous stuff. But they all said everyone else, they all said the other ones were BS. Unfortunately, now there's 250 different techniques and people are still fighting. So I don't argue with anyone. If someone wants to argue, let's go result versus result. But I don't want to argue. If you want to take my class, I think you'll be utterly thrilled. And if not, that's cool. If you like what you're doing, I'm happy for you.
Well, a couple of years ago, I gave a dynamic talk up in Boulder with about 40 chiropractors up there. It was called Unity Through Diversity. And I talked about how everybody that goes into a chiropractor will get their nervous system stimulated by a different type of technique, and they all get results. That's why their offices are thriving. So whatever you decide to do with your practice, that's your specific ability, because you are the doctor. You are the one that's gone to school for 7 to 9 years. You are the one that's put yourself out there to become that healer of whatever technique you choose. And if it depends that it's zone healing technique, that's something that you resonate with and that's something you want to put into your toolkit, maybe it's something that will change your life and allow you to deliver the goods quicker, more effective, and efficiently to your practice members to where their lives change faster.
Check this out. Pasquale Sarasoli, if I'm pronouncing his last name right, he was a chiropractor in Brooklyn, where I'm from. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. Pasquale Sarasoli, who practiced till he was 98, I believe, was one of the greatest chiropractors ever. So when I say that, if you look at the results this guy got and numbers, I mean, this guy was high volume. I was helping people heal from spectacular stuff, spectacular. Pasquale Sarasoli, one of the greatest chiropractors ever. Now, there's a video on YouTube that you can check out where he's just giving an adjustment. And then the person at the end says, is that what you did in your office? He said, yeah, that's what I did. He cracked every bone. He went from like Texas style, old school. He went from T1 to S1. He cracked every bone. He did both sides of the side posture, looked like not much analysis with it. He did both sides of the cervical supine. He did a bunch of extremities, and that's what he did. He said, everyone got that. No, I don't do that. But for everyone who thinks they're so specific, especially upper cervical, and thinks if you're not doing upper cervical, you're not doing it properly, well, guess what? You should check your results versus Pasquale Sarasoli. I don't think they'll compare. The guy was a healing genius, and that's what he did, because there's a bigger principle of healing, which we talked about at the beginning of this, which I teach in my school. And when you understand that, no matter what technique you're doing, you'll get even better results.
I thoroughly enjoy talking to you. You resonate with my heart when you talk about, the differences between the techniques. And I think that that's something that makes you a genius in your space. And I think that the more people that, open themselves up to understanding that it's not just one way, it can be whatever you resonate with as how you take care of your office. Like I said in that talk, everybody puts an impulse in the nervous system. You're correcting the subluxation. You're allowing the body to free itself up. And some people, like you said, they get the flying sevens and that body responds. Some people get that AO, upper cervical, not even a hand adjusting somebody, and they clear up. Some people are activator methods that, there's a baby that comes in that can't talk. You do a couple of activator adjustments, they're not spitting up anymore. The colic goes away. The croup, goes away. The fussiness and the crying and, not latching goes away. I mean, that's the primary, when you can take somebody that can't speak and communicate, like when Jay Comerick takes care of horses, those horses don't talk. So when you can see like the nervous system get turned on by the chiropractic adjustment, the body, there's no lying when it's a baby or an animal, man. And when people start seeing that chiropractic works on all nervous systems, that is a beautiful thing. And that's why I believe that everybody has a space and they have a voice and they have their own path.
Man, you should be giving talks to not thousands but millions. That was fantastic. I can't even add anything to that. It was so perfect.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that, but it's because my passion is so grounded, and it means so much for me to be able to have a conversation like this, that I was starving for the ability to talk real chiropractic. And, we put this conversation off by 2 times, but sometimes it's a divine appointment. And I believe today was a divine appointment where we got to talk real. We got a chance to break, bread across the internet pathways, and we were able to see each other for who we were and let each other be our own champions and help people with maybe a subluxation that they're dealing with above their atlas. So, kudos to you for being so well grounded and being available, but also the platform that we have provided gives people that voice. And like I said, time after time, we keep free speech alive and well in the chiropractic profession. And that's why we hustle as hard as we do. And like I said, too, I don't do enough, man. I can't wait till I can do more. I can't wait till we can level up and we can deliver the goods at a higher level, at a better frequency, and more people can get the big idea. When they say, you get the big idea, all else follows, man. And that's what chiropractic is.
I want Jim Chester to come to San Francisco anytime he wants, do a Facebook Live, getting adjusted by me, seeing the zone technique in action. And everyone who's listening to this call or watching us or go to zonetechnique.com. There's a free course on it. If you like it, sign up for the course. The course has 100% money back guarantee. I can't wait to teach you. I will help you.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if there's any much more we can cover. I wanted to talk to you about marketing. I want to talk to you about a few more things about why you were so fast forward with reconnecting yourself into the chiropractic space after the absence, but we'll leave that for another time. I'm going to flash up there one more time your website. If you guys did find value in this, I would like to have you share it. Give us some thumbs up, give us some hearts. If you do have questions, either direct message Dr. Pete or myself. We'd be happy to help you with those. I'll put it in the comments there in the chat. We never leave anybody hanging. So if anybody ever does communicate with me, I'll always respond to people. I just want to say thank you, Dr. Pete, for being such an advocate for keeping free speech alive and well in the chiropractic space.
Like Jim said, anyone who contacts me, I always get back to you. So feel free. Any questions? If you're like, oh, I want to talk to this guy a little bit more, we can chat anytime. Thanks, Jim. Always great to interact with you. I'd love to see you back on one of these, and I especially love to see you in San Francisco.
And why don't you interview me sometime?
You know what? That's happening. As soon as we get off, I'm going to make those arrangements.
Perfect. Is it okay if I close out then?
Beautiful.
You guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. Keep on shining. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.